Hiya then folks, welcome to episode 2, Boating on a Budget. It's me, the tight Yorkshireman, here on our boat, Leander Lady, that we bought a few weeks ago and is a bit of a project. What we're going to be looking at on this episode, that we're kind of calling First Things First, is indeed that. All the little jobs that we just need to do to have a look, to see what she's like, take her out, give her a spin round for a day or two, like we said, see what works, see what don't work, see what we're going to need to replace, see what we can use. So what we've done is, over the last couple of days, we got a few bits together that we thought we'd need. We've got like a basic solar system, only a cheap one that I've got off Facebook Marketplace. Check things like the bilge pumps are working, Dawn's knocked up a few curtains. So we're just going to have a look now at kind of what we've done to get it ready to take it out. We're not going to show too much detail on this sort of section because, in all honesty, the things that we've done now are going to be getting replaced as the series progresses. These are just short term, kind of get us through, if you like. So as it gets more into the series and we put the proper solar system on, we'll obviously go into a lot more detail of how it works, how we've installed it, and indeed why we've gone for that particular system. Obviously budget will be a big part of that. But yeah, so for now, I think if we have a look at the videos that we've made, just to the different things that we've done, and then I'll come back to you, we'll have a bit more of a chat, and we'll start discussing the all important costs. So we start with some really basic stuff, just filling the water tanks up. This tank that we're showing here, that's actually the one for the pump out toilet. Then we needed to check the diesel, make sure we've got enough. Being red diesel, the easiest way to check it is just popping that stick straight into the fuel filler cap that you see there, and it shows up on the stick exactly how much fuel's in there. We are going to give the engine a service as well, so I've ordered there the parts for it: transmission fluid, engine oil, oil filter and air filter, and I've also ordered a couple of fuel filters, because as well as changing one to start with, it's always worth carrying a spare one of those just in case you pick up any muck or anything like that in the diesel. Right then, we're down here now in the engine bay. Quick check before we go out for the maiden voyage. What we'll do first of all is just a quick check on the engine levels, engine oil levels, see what that's like. So, like with any engine, got the dipstick, pull it out, give it a little wipe, quality bit of cloth, otherwise known as a bit of toilet roll, pop it back in, right in, and then back out, and as you can see there maybe, we've got about an inch of oil. Well, it's about an inch up the dipstick, so that to me says we've got enough, as that's just a basically bang on the maximum mark. Next we're going to have a little check of the voltages on the batteries. Obviously the boat's not been properly used for a while, so we're not really sure how good the batteries and things are. So again, that's part of the idea of this first sort of little test run, is just see how things perform and see what we do or don't need to replace. So as you can see, got the trusty multimeter out, and before we start the engine, if I pop that on the starter motor battery, that's reading 12.65 volts, which for a battery is about right. That's got enough in there. If we try it on the leisure battery, that's not looking so good. That's 7.65 volts. So probably saying that battery is now good, but we will just leave it connected for this first run and just see whether it does put any charge into it. But in all honesty, I'm not really very hopeful on that. But as you can see, as part of the solar system, we did get a couple of extra batteries anyway, so it is going to be one of the first jobs anyway, is to get them wired in, and I think we'll be doing away with that one. But like I say, while it's there, We'll give it a try, you just never know. Right, we're now going to fire her up, see how she starts, see how she runs, and I'll check the voltages again. However, when it started, obviously you're not really going to hear what I'm saying down there, so I'll either put the little captions up on the screen of the voltages, or I'll voice over it afterwards and play a little bit of music in the background. But here we go then, so to start it, press that down. There's a little magic button just behind here. Fingers crossed, when I press it, it'll go. We have power. As you'll see here, with the engine running, it's still not putting a charge into the batteries until you get this little red wire and just tap it onto the positive terminal just for a second or so. That then in effect kicks the alternator into life. I think that's something we're going to have a little look at and work out how to do that in a bit better way, because obviously every time I start the engine I don't want to be having to climb down there to touch that red wire. I'm guessing on a car it's kind of done automatically. Now with the engine running, just checking it all goes into gear and that the throttle works. You see there, as I put it forwards, it not only puts it into gear to start the propeller spinning, it also increases the speed of the prop as well. We'll now have a little look at the solar system I've popped on the boat for now. So this is just a cheap system I got as a second-hand unit off Facebook Marketplace. Cost £100, and for that I got a couple of leisure batteries that so far seem okay. There was the solar controller, which again is only a very basic sort of Chinese import one, and there's a panel that goes on the roof with the fittings to hold that on. It's nothing spectacular at all. Not expecting a great deal of power out of it, but basically so long as it can keep our phones charged up and maybe the iPad and things just while we're out and about as we go up for blacking, that for now is all that we really need. Obviously when we do come to set the boat up properly, although I'll not be spending a fortune, we will be having quite a decent solar system, as obviously the power is really the heartbeat of the boat. So without the power, obviously you struggle to live properly. So I would reckon when we come to set it up properly, there'll be at least 2 or 3 solar panels on the roof, probably a better control system than what's in there at the moment, and I'm guessing probably around 4 or 5 leisure batteries. But like I say, just for now, this sort of setup will do. It'll get us going, and it'll make sure that we've got that little bit of power that we need in the short term. As you can see, I am working away really quickly there, running around and around the boat, just using a little bit of adhesive just to hold those panels down for the time being. While we are up on the roof, you can see that there are areas that have been repaired in the past, and it is one thing that we are really going to look closely at in the coming weeks, the sort of the condition of the body and what we're going to do to rectify that. What we can either rebuild, repair, or indeed what's going to have to be replaced. The replacing it idea though does sound awfully costly, but again, if that's what we're going to need to do, that's what we're going to need to do. We might be boating on a budget, but we also need a boat that's a decent boat to live on. Right, we do obviously have problems with this charging system because we've now been running the engine, it's probably about an hour and a half. We've got to our destination, and if we do a quick check on the voltages, you'll see that the starter battery is 12.77, so that's a little bit higher than when we set off. I think it was about 12.6, 12.65. The leisure battery, however, was about 7.5 when we set off, And if we check it now, that's now dropped to 6.2. So obviously it's definitely not been taking any charge. So whether that's that the split charging system's not working, or whether it is just that this battery is completely dead and obviously not taking any charge, we're not really sure of. However, as we have said, we've got these couple of other batteries along with the solar system that we're just wiring in. So I think for now all I'm going to do is quickly switch these wires, which are basically the 12 volt feed through into the boat, over onto one of these batteries, and that way we'll get 12 volt feed back in there and we can sort of work on it from there. So you can see what I'm doing here is basically just taking the wires off the original leisure battery to transfer them onto one of the newer ones that came with the solar system. Also at the same time I'm getting rid of a couple of odd wires that don't seem to do anything anymore, and removing the current split charging system. Obviously the split charge used to mean that the leisure batteries charged up separate to the starter battery, but we're now just running it so that the leisure batteries are charged purely and simply off the solar. Again, that is just a temporary measure, and once we set the boat back up properly we will put it back to a proper split charge system, so that when the engine's running it's not only charging the starter, it's also topping up the leisure batteries. This is how she's now looking down in the battery department. I think you'll agree she's looking probably 100 times better, even though obviously there is still a lot to do, and rather disappointingly most of what I've actually done there will actually be coming back out in the not too distant future. But like we say, it's getting it safe and secure and getting us 12 volt power through into the boat that we can use in between now and actually starting the main refit once we've had the boat out for blacking. What are we doing then, Dawn?
I'm sewing some curtains.
Sewing curtains? What,
yeah.
for these windows here?
No, for bedroom.
Oh, for bedroom.
Yeah, we don't need them in here for now. I'm doing them tomorrow.
Right. Are they permanent curtains we're having, or?
No.
No. They're just somewhat temporary.
Yeah, just so nobody can look in on us while we're sleeping.
Oh, we don't want that. We don't want stalkers looking in, do we? Peering through windows.
No.
No.
Definitely not.
No, well you crack on with sewing then.
Alright, thanks a lot, kiddo.
No worries, we'll check back in with you later.
Alright, thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So these are the curtains that Dawn came up with. So they're just a couple of old pairs of curtains that we had lying around. So Dawn's just trimmed them to size. Not even actually bothered sort of to hem them or anything. They are only a temporary solution. And we've just used kind of tie backs, but more or less at the top rather than the sides, to hold them up when they're open. Again, a similar thing in the bedroom. They're there for the privacy. Nothing spectacular at the moment, but they do the job they need to do. Likewise with the mattress, we've just got a mattress topper at the moment on the floor, and it's probably not the comfiest of things, but at least it does do the job that we need. And you'll see there, that's the breakfast that Dawn cooked. So yes, the hob works as well. And very tasty it was too. Right, I think that gives you kind of a little bit of a background to it. Just shows you kind of roughly what we've done and being able to use the boat with the few bits that we've done. Say everything works, the engine works, we've got power on board, stuff like that. It has obviously highlighted a few jobs that we're going to need to do in the sort of fairly short term to make sure it's suitable to be able to take out for its blacking which is due in sort of 4 or 5 weeks and is a couple of days cruise away. So we'll have a little look at a few things. There's stuff like the Morso control that sort of puts it in gear and revs it. That seems a bit stiff and doesn't always select properly. The deck boards on the back, they're a bit loose and a bit wobbly, so we'll get them sorted. Just sort of general bits like that, but in essence it is all working, and the bits that we've put on are at least good enough for now. Like we said, they're not going to be the long-term solution. They're just to get us going. We're obviously going to look a lot more in detail as to exactly what we're going to change and what we're going to keep as the project progresses. But what I'm going to come on to now is the all-important bit that I'm sure most people are keen to know, and that's the costings. Remember, this is boating on a budget. We've not got an unlimited bank account. We've not got massive overdrafts that we can run into. So costings, I've got them written down here so that I'm not going to get them wrong. But I have just thought I might leave it on a bit of a cliff edge, and I might see, what do you clever folk out there think it's all cost then? In essence, we've got a boat that we've bought, we've insured it, we've licensed it, and we've took it out. So it's a working boat, it's usable. How much do you actually think we've spent in total up to now? And by total I mean things like the mooring fees and the licence and insurance. We've paid the first month of them, we've not paid the whole year. So have a think, what's the boat cost and the first month for everything? And included in that there's the daft things like we had to go and buy a torch. Let's have a little look. We bought mattress topper for the bedroom. Few bits of cables just to sort out the solar system itself. But as I said, that was just a cheapie off Facebook Marketplace. We had to go and buy a bottle of gas. So have a think then. Pop it in the comments below. How much do you think we're currently in to have the boat on the water and we've actually been out and used it? Drop it in the comments. It's going to be interesting, that. And on the next vlog, we'll run through them all. They're on here. So I know this first vlog or two has been a lot of me talking and Dawn when she was here. She's at work at the minute, by the way. Hopefully we're going to start getting into it from the next one. We're actually going to show some footage of us being out and about on the boat next time. And obviously we'll run through these costings. Hopefully then you've liked the video, so give it the thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and click the little bell icon that comes up next to the subscribe button. That means you'll get notifications when we put more videos on, and obviously there's going to be a lot more videos. We're going to keep following the project through right until the boat's done, and then when we're out and about, fingers crossed, living on it. So I think for now that's about it. Thanks for putting up with me, listening to me drivel on about all this kind of rubbish, and we'll catch you next time when we're going to carry on boating on a budget.